When I look back at my life, there were many years where I simply was not present. I was physically here, but mentally and spiritually, I was way out in left field. I was checked out. All of my time, day after day, was simply spent acting on autopilot. I was meeting with the same people, having the same conversations, going to the same places, without much thought about it at all. Things just were how they were, and I was simply an observer or an audience member within my own life. I felt like a side character in a movie where things just happened around me and I was just on the outskirts of the real plot itself. And the older I've gotten, the more people I've spoken to, the more observing I've done of society, the more I realize that more people than not are experiencing the same thing. You're physically here, but mentally and spiritually, you're somewhere else completely. And for my research, I found there are a few main reasons why this is. So today, I'll discuss what those reasons are and how you can go about shifting this within your own life so you can feel more present and grounded in this very moment. So the first main reason why so many people feel like an audience member within their own life is because old patterns that have been adopted through your experiences simply never go away. You see, many of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions we take are deeply ingrained within our subconscious. They're the direct result of the things we saw, the things we heard, the things we experienced as a little kid. And for most people, as I've talked about in plenty of other videos, these patterns simply never change. Not because these people don't grow or become more intelligent or more experienced, but because these patterns are deeply embedded within the subconscious mind. And the way the subconscious mind works is that it speaks to you through intuition, through your dreams, and those sudden, quick, like shower thoughts that you have on a daily basis. Now, the problem, I almost fell off my chair. The problem is that you need to be consciously aware and attentive of these things happening so that when the subconscious does come through to speak to you, you can notice it and you can pick up on these patterns that are coming through. But this leads me to my next point, which is lack of presence. You see, we are so distracted with consuming more information, whether that's entertainment or education or whatever else, to just keep ourselves busy. And because of this, we're not really present in the moment. Due to this lack of presence, when your intuition or those shower thoughts or those sudden ideas come to mind through your subconscious, you can't pick up on them. You can't be attentive because your awareness is somewhere else completely. I remember back in 2021, I was standing in line at a grocery store and there were a few people in front of me, a few people behind me. This was right around the time self-checkout was becoming a thing, but it wasn't in every store you go into. So anyways, I'm standing in line. There's two people in front of me, two people behind me, and a few different rows of people waiting to be checked out. This was like a Saturday morning, so the stores were very busy. And I look around to my right, I look to my left, and I saw every single person who wasn't currently unloading groceries onto the conveyor belt, they were on their phone. Young people, old people, adults, children, you name it. Everybody that I saw was on their phone. And in that moment, I realized, wow, this lack of presence issue is so prevalent. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, no matter the race, ethnicity, economic status, political views, people are so distracted. Modern technology has essentially pulled us out of the physical world and totally immersed us, just thrown us into the chaotic online world. And while I love the internet, of course I make these videos, just about every single day I post a video, I write, I connect with other people, I learn from other people, but this chaos within our minds, it's happened so quickly and we really have not been able to properly adapt to it in a healthy way. And because of this, we can be physically somewhere, but mentally and spiritually we're somewhere else completely because we're thinking about that video we saw or what's happening in the news or if your favorite sports team won or lost the other night when they played. Our attention is split in so many different directions, and because of this, we're mentally exhausted. And when you're mentally exhausted, you don't have the same energy and excitement for life like you did before. When you don't have that excitement and energy for life, then you just go about your days on autopilot, doing the things you have to do, having the conversations you have to have, saying hello to the people you're going to say hello to, all the stuff that you can make enjoyable and fulfilling within your life. But if you're mentally checked out and you're mentally exhausted, then you simply won't do it. And you can see this everywhere you go. When you go into public, there are fewer conversations being had. We have lesser We have less appreciation for the little things around us. It seems minute, it seems minuscule, like, yeah, it's not really that big of a deal, but it really is that big of a deal. This brings me to the third point, the third reason why so many people feel like they're a audience member or a passenger within their own life. That's because they are living vicariously through other people online. So I remember back in 2008, 2009, I'm going back far, when YouTube first became a thing. I used to watch Call of Duty videos because at that time my mother would not let me get Call of Duty. I really wanted to get, I think it was Modern Warfare 2. But she was like, no, you're too young. I'm not going to let you play that game, yada, yada, yada. So I would go online to YouTube and watch other people play that game just because I couldn't get the game myself. And a few years later, when she did let me get Call of Duty and start playing those sorts of games, I never watched another video on that again because I was like, I have the game itself. Let's go. I don't need to watch some random guy live stream. And to me, that was the coolest thing. But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that, especially with teenagers and young adults, we're living our lives through other people. Other people will build stuff with their hands. Other people will travel the world or create some unique artwork, and we'd rather watch them do it than do it ourselves. I didn't know why this was for a while. I would think, wouldn't people rather embark on that challenge and actually create it for themselves? But no. And it turns out there's a neuroscience reason why this is. You see, in the brain, there's something called mirror neurons. These are essentially neurons that activate when we see somebody else doing a certain activity. So for example, if you watch somebody playing racquetball, but a very competitive game of racquetball. I've never played racquetball, I've never watched the game, but the example just came to mind. So if you're watching them play racquetball, you get the same sort of neurochemical cocktail within your mind, and your brain thinks that, okay, we are playing racquetball. We are having the same experience as that person is in the video who's playing racquetball. And because of this, because your brain thinks you're experiencing playing racquetball, you get the same emotional release, the same emotional feelings that are associated with actually playing an intense game of racquetball. Because of this, because your mirror neurons activate and you have the same emotional response as somebody who's actually playing, you don't feel the desire to actually get up off your butt, go learn how to play racquetball, and enjoy yourself actually playing the game. You can literally stay home, never leave your house, and just watch other people do cool things online, but your brain thinks you're doing those cool things yourself. And it's a very deceptive thing. So your nervous system is essentially getting those small emotional rewards from whatever you're watching, but physically you're not doing anything. You see, the human brain evolved to apply what we learn. It evolved to essentially get us acting in a goal-directed manner. So when we're just watching people do things without actually setting our own goals that are associated with those things, then we're getting mentally obese. We're essentially filling our brains with more information, but we're never doing anything with that information. And this is one of the core reasons why people get addicted to watching motivational or self-help like videos, but never actually do anything about it. They get that dopamine hit of thinking, yeah, like I am doing something purposeful and meaningful and unique within my life. This is a higher pursuit. But in reality, all they're doing is watching somebody talk about it. And the tricky part is that algorithms know exactly what it needs to show you in order to keep you hooked. Because if it can keep you hooked, then it can keep you sedated in this weird sort of way. And we all know that it's much easier to passively consume content and see what other people are doing rather than actually doing something for yourself. So this is how the cycle continues. You continue to live vicariously through other people online. Because after all, if you can see all these things online and your body can't tell the difference, why start that business? Why read that difficult book? Why book that flight across the entire world and travel to all the cool places you want to see if you can just watch other people do it for you? You can get the same emotional responses without actually taking any action. Isn't that what you want? Now, obviously, I'm being sarcastic there, but this is the reality for many people. It's not that people don't want to set these big goals for themselves and try new things, but we are sedated. We're seeing what's happening with other people and within their lives, and we think, oh yeah, like that's so cool, ha ha ha, this is so great, yeah, I wish I could do that. I wish I had the resources or the knowledge or the confidence to do what they're doing, but you do. You just got to get out of your own way. As time continues to pass and technology becomes more immersive, I think having this awareness becomes even more important because things are only going to get worse. It's only going to become even more difficult to step away from the noise. It's only going to be even more enjoyable to scroll and see cool things that are happening online because it'll just become even more detailed and vivid and you'll feel like you're actually there. I think many people will lose themselves along the way because their entire existence will be dependent on what other people all across the world through their content are doing. And this is going to be a very scary thing. I think it's already happening, but we haven't seen the full long-term effects of this quite yet. I know that if I was talking about stuff like this 15, 20 years ago, most people would look at me like I'm completely insane. They'd be like, oh yeah, all right, man, whatever you say. Social media is supposed to be this tool to connect with people and to help people and to spread information, which it is, but I think things have swung way too far to one side where more people than not are using it to essentially escape the harsh realities of their own life. So at this point, you're probably wondering, all right, man, like, what are you getting at? What's the answer? What can we do? Obviously, I don't think we should just stop using social media. That's dumb. But you're going to be more intentional with how you spend your time. Treat your attention like it's the most scarce and valuable resource that you have because quite honestly, your attention is the most scarce and valuable resource that you have. You can do so much with it if you direct it in the right ways. So if you're going to go online, use it wisely. Use it to connect with people who are like you. Use it to share your ideas. Use it to actually learn something and then actually do something with that knowledge. Use it to book that flight to a cool place you see and get inspired to do meaningful things that are creative and unique and ultimately fulfilling to you because we're living in times where passive consumption is so easy. And this passive consumption is essentially taking people out of the physical world. Like we're here, as I mentioned before, but mentally and spiritually, we're really not here at all. We're somewhere else completely just thinking about what other people are doing with their lives rather than actually doing something cool with our own lives. So yeah, take with this as you want. Apply it, don't apply it, ignore me, whatever. It's up to you, it's your life. But yeah, I've seen how bad my life has gotten when I just passively consume and don't do anything with the things that I'm seeing online rather than where it is now and where I'm moving towards. I'm not perfect by any means, but posting these videos and writing online and actually applying what I learned to my life has been a lot more fulfilling than just passively consuming and living vicariously through other people. So yeah, take some time to be intentional with how you use social media. Take some time to unplug and go from there, all right? These are my thoughts. Thank you for watching. I'll speak to you soon.